Yeah, the US has got a low inflation problem. It's a similar message that every other central bank's been getting, but because the US has had this fantastic fiscal stimulus and actually the economy's in better structural shape, the message has taken longer to come through. But obviously central banks everywhere are struggling with delivering their inflation mandates, and many central banks are trying harder to get there. There needs to be a combination of things. Clearly monetary policy is in operation, where countries have fiscal capacity, fiscal policy as well. But also I think some acceptance that the growth environment is structurally changed, it's structurally different. We can't just rely on central banks. We need to work harder on the reform side of the economy, developing productivity growth, utilising existing resources more effectively.
Do you see any chance of that happening anytime soon?
Look, it varies by country, and most countries are reporting structurally weaker productivity growth. I think that also relates to this much more repressed credit environment. But certainly there's lots of things countries can do. It's about the political will and finding political agreement. And unambiguously, that is more complicated almost everywhere. But there are things that definitely can be done to kind of ungum the system and get things moving. And governments need to get on with it.
Aside from the G20, of course, that's going to be the big story at the weekend into early next week, but a number of central banks meeting next week as well. Where you are in Australia, what do you think the odds are that we're going to see a follow-up rate cut there?
Look, the language from the Reserve Bank's been as clear as I can ever recall it. I think people would be very surprised if there wasn't a rate cut next week. There's more debate about when the next easing comes. We expect an easing in July, so that would be 3 rate cuts in a row. That is historically unusual, but we are in historically unusual times. The Reserve Bank has laid out quite a strong framework related to unemployment. Unemployment is more than 0.5% away from their target. I think it's going to take more than 2 rate cuts to get there.
So you are penciling in 3. What was the timeline on that?
So we've had one in June. We think both July and August you'll get rate cuts in Australia, and then that has implications elsewhere, of course, as well, because to the extent particularly small open economies would like their exchange rates to be part of their monetary policy mechanism. New Zealand probably wants a weaker currency. We've had some monetary easing in the Philippines. We're looking for some in India and Korea. They probably want weaker exchange rates as well, and the more one central bank goes, it does kind of add to the case for more of them to ease.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.